Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I'm making this video early this morning about the narcissist and demonic soul ties. It's been such a long time since I made a video about anything about narcissism or spoke about the narcissist and the soul tie. So I just was inspired um, to make this video. I've been going through a rough couple of days, just emotionally, mentally. COVID going back up, holiday times, not being able to be around family because of COVID. And so I know that I'm not the only one. I know there's other people out there going through a rough time right now. Maybe you're experiencing the aftermath of a soul tie from someone who's no longer in your life right now, whether by death or just by pure divine intervention. However, I just wanted to make this video. It won't be long. It'll be quick. I'm gonna get head on onto the points that I want to get out. And let's go. Here it is. A soul tie is defined as a spiritual and emotional connection that ties one person's life to another. We can see references for soul ties in the Bible in 1 Samuel 18 and 1, where it says, "And it came to pass, when he had made an end of speaking unto Saul, that the soul of Jonathan was knit with the soul of David, and Jonathan loved him as his own soul." Here in that scripture, we can see that Jonathan and David were connected together with a healthy soul tie through brotherhood to come together for Jesus Christ to do his work and his will. So you have healthy soul ties. Um, David and Jonathan are an example of a healthy soul tie formed together by God. Another example of a healthy soul tie would be when a man and a woman come together to be husband and wife and are equally yoked underneath the eyes of God. That's a healthy soul tie. We also have unhealthy soul ties, and that's more what I'll be speaking on today. An unhealthy soul tie is a bond created spiritually amongst two people um, from a demonic setting. Most of the time, it's created through sex. So, when we function in intimate and sexual relations with people as though we are husband and wife, the same connection takes place from a platform of sin. So as when we have casual sex, when we intertwine our souls with other people, not even in sex, because soul ties do not have to be formed through a sexual relationship. But for this purpose of speaking about narcissism and the narcissist and the demonic soul tie, I am solely speaking on demonic, unhealthy soul ties that are created through sexual intimacy. So when we choose to have casual sex and we choose to um, allow our souls to be intertwined with another person's soul from a platform of sin, we are creating an unhealthy, unnatural, demonic soul tie with this person. There is more to sex than just a physical act. Sex opens up your soul to the person that you're being involved with. When we have sex, there's a spiritual bond that is created. So when you have sex with somebody who you're not equally yoked with, a husband or a wife, you're creating a spiritual bond between you and that person. So, speaking up on the term of narcissism and a natural soul tie, when we intertwine into this relationship with these narcissistic people who are already unhealthy, who don't have empathy, who have low self esteem, who are usually codependent, who really have no care for other people. They only care for themselves. They can't be held accountable. This person really has a disdain for you. It will seem in the beginning as though they're infatuated with you, as if they love you, in which they are infatuated with you in your light and all the great um, traits and capabilities that they see that you have within you, which is what drew them to you in the first place, because they were living in darkness and they saw your light, and your light led them to you because they wanted to absorb that to bring some light into them. So let's be clear, a narcissist lives in the darkness. They live in hate. They live in evil. They live with this disdain towards other people within themselves, because all the things and traits and capabilities that they see in other people that they would like to have within themselves, they don't have, or they don't have the willpower and the determination to purify themselves and to cleanse themselves of all the demonic entities that are living within them, to allow their light to shine through. So they look at other people like me, like you, and like other people who are empathetic and have a lot of light within them, who choose to live by God's will, or who want to live by God's will and are really doing everything in their power to walk with God and to live by God's word and to do the right thing and to be that person who just shines their light up on everybody. They want to be that, but they can't be that. So they come and they hunt people who have those capabilities, who have those traits, and they purposely build demonic soul ties with these people so they can forever always have a connection with this person. So they can always absorb light from this person no matter whether they're with this person or not. When you lay down with a person who is narcissistic or has narcissistic traits within them, you are allowing yourself to be opened up to take on some, if not all, of those traits that this person has. And then when this person is done with you, because let's be clear, a narcissist is going to be done with you at a certain point in time. You're not going to be that shiny new toy anymore that they first bought out Toys R Us that looked so wonderful that they wanted to play with so bad. They done played with you now and you're old and you're not new. You're boring. You're no longer exciting to them. So they're going to move on to the next shiny thing that looks exciting to them, right? That's what they do. But they've created that soul tie in you to keep you connected. But they knew from the beginning when they met you that you were going to eventually get boring, that they were going to eventually become uninterested with you, and they were going to want to go on to the next person that excites them, that gives them life, because that's what a narcissist do. They go out and they pray and they prowl and they look for somebody to feed into their ego to give them supply. So once your supply becomes needless and pointless to them, they're off to find their new supply, but not before they've locked onto you and caused you to be consecrated with them through this demonic soul tie, which is going to break you down mentally, emotionally, and physically, because they're absorbing all of the great things in you that you have. They're absorbing all of your light. They're absorbing all of your love. They're absorbing all of your energy. They're absorbing all of your ideas, everything about you that makes you you, which is why they wanted to be with you in the first place, because they don't have these traits. So they're absorbing, all of your great traits and all of your wonderful light out of you into them, basically to go out into the world to absorb more supply. So to talk about it further, the soul tie, when created, is so powerful that even when you're separated from the person, this person will still live with you through memories, scents, music, and our places. You can feel this person through physical sensations, obsessive thoughts, and irrational behavior. So even when this person is no longer with you anymore, they have left you, you're still going to feel strongly connected to this person. You're still going to feel as if this person is there with you. When you listen to certain songs, when you go to certain places, if you're at home and you have smell a certain smell because you and this person live together, if you see a certain thing, if someone says that person's name, this is going to affect you in a different way than it would if you were just in a normal, healthy, not narcissistic relationship. You know, most of us, we might be sad for a little while. We might feel inflicted. We might have memories that may make us feel a little down for a short period of time, but we're able to snap back and shake it off and keep pushing. But when you've been in a narcissistic relationship and the narcissistic relationship has ended, whether the person has broken it off with you or you have broken it off with them, regardless of the case, you still will feel connected to this person. They still will have a hold over you in such a way that will bring you down physically, mentally, and emotionally to the point where maybe you have no understanding over what is going on with you. This is that demonic soul tie that we're seeing still being connected to you, even though this person is no longer with you. So it still affects you in your everyday life. It can affect you down to how you operate at work, to how you establish other relationships. It may put you on such a reserve to where you're so guarded to where you don't even think that you can have another healthy relationship with anybody else after going through what you went through in this relationship with this person, because there's so much trauma that you do take on from a narcissistic relationship from the beginning until the end. And let's be clear, it never really ends until you, as the person, as the victim who has suffered from the abuse from the narcissist, decides that I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not going to allow myself to be a doormat to be walked on by this person. I'm not going to allow this person to absorb any more of my positive, good light energy. out of me, wearing me down emotionally, physically, and mentally. I'm not going to allow this person to have a lock over my soul and over my spirit, allowing demonic entities and demonic thoughts to take over me, to change me and who I am, to possess me with full of demons, because that's exactly what's going on with you when you allow yourself and your soul to open up to somebody who's unhealthy, who's uncleansed, to somebody who lives in the darkness, to somebody who has a low sense of their self and is out here trying to kill and destroy other people out of their own low self-esteem. Many people who get married and find their soulmate, spouse, whatever they may call it, find it hard to even function within their marriage because they have so many old memories of old lovers because of those soul ties that never broke. So this is where we find infidelity in marriages, because one or both people in the marriage still have connection to old partners in their life through demonic soul ties that were established. And because they didn't do the work to break those soul ties, those demons still live within them. And they still talk to the flesh, and the flesh is weak. So when the flesh is talked to and the flesh is not strong enough to fight off the temptation, then we give in to that. We give in to that soul tie because it bounds us in such a way that it's hard for us to even fight it off. It's hard for us to walk away from the things that we know that we're not supposed to do. It speaks about it in the Bible. Paul talked about how he desired to do what was right, but he just couldn't, right? And that which he knew was wrong, he did anyway, because we are victims of our own flesh. We know right from wrong. I would hope all of us, I would say some of us, and some of them, really, and honestly, all of us do know right from wrong. It's those of us who our spirit will be, I'm trying to look for the word, excuse me, y'all. Our spirit will be moved. That's not the word I'm looking for, that's the word I'm going to use. Our spirit will be moved. God will talk to us to let you know what is right from wrong. And when you do wrong, your spirit will be inflicted. That's the word I'm looking for. Your spirit will be inflicted when you're doing the wrong thing and you desire in your whole mind, body, and soul to do right. When your mind, body, and spirit and soul desire to all do right, then you'll feel inflicted when you do wrong. And you'll want to repent and turn away from that. But it takes the true, pure willpower to stand on what you know is right, to purge yourself of all things demonic, of sin and of evil doing, and to walk in the light of God and betray the things of this world and the love of your flesh. So I'm going to read to y'all. I had to look for it. Romans 7:15 through 19. So it's Romans chapter 7, verses 15 through 19. This is the amplified version of the Bible, because the King James Version, sometimes we don't understand it. So I'm going to read y'all this is more in layman's terms. It's more understandable. And it basically speaks on what I was just talking about how we struggle with the flesh, how we want to do right, but we still will do wrong, and how those soul ties can keep a hold on us, because when we activate off the flesh, this is what happens. For I do not understand my own actions. I am baffled, bewildered. I do not practice or accomplish what I wish, but I do the very thing that I loathe, which my moral instinct condemns. Now, if I do habitually what is contrary to my desire, that means that I acknowledge and agree that the law is good, morally excellent, and that I take sides with it. However, it is no longer I who do the deed, but the sin principle which is at home in me and has possession of me. For I know that nothing good dwells within me, that is in my flesh. I can will what is right, but I cannot perform it. I have the intention and urge to do what is right, but no power to carry it out. For I fail to practice the good deeds I desire to do. But the evil deeds that I do not desire to do are what I am ever doing. So even though we're in these relationships with these people, We know this person is not right, man or female. We know they don't treat us right. We know they have a lack of respect for us. They don't love us right. They cheat. They lie. They're emotionally manipulative. They're physically abusive. They gaslight you. They ghost you. All of these factors, but you still cannot walk away. It's because you are held and bound down by your flesh. You're consecrated to this person through that demonic soul tie. And it has taken over your mind, body, and spirit to a point where you can't function. Because even though your mind knows it's not right and your spirit feels tainted, your body, the flesh, is still weak for this desire feeling that you're getting from this person. So this is where you have to search you entirely from the inside out, figuring out what it is about you that you need to purge out of you to break this demonic hold / soul tie that this person has placed over your life to keep you consecrated to them forever. Because until you purge yourself and cleanse yourself of the demonic things that live within you that are keeping you strong held to this person through this soul tie, that is keeping your flesh weak to being a victim of lust, you'll forever become a victim. Not only with this person that you may be dealing with right now, but any other person that you may come in contact with, not even in an intimate setting or an emotional sexual relationship, even with a job, even with friends, even with family members, you'll find yourself drained emotionally, mentally, and physically because you keep allowing these people to hold this bond with you that's unhealthy and unnatural, because we're so weak to the flesh. And don't beat yourself up, because we are made in the image of God, so he knows us. So he knows that we are weak to our flesh, but he gives us all the tools in order to fight, to strengthen ourselves, to be able to fight off these demons in which we face each and every day that are made to kill and destroy us, to take us over, to turn us away from the will of God, from the light of God, from the God that lives in us each and every day. Soul ties are definitely an unnatural affection. Without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce despisers of those that are good. That's 2 Timothy chapter 3, verse 3. When you live in darkness in the demonic world, unholy soul ties can serve as conduits to transfer spirits. So when you create or allow an unhealthy soul tie to be created within you from one person to the next, you're transferring spirits. So that's when we see the narcissistic relationship. That's when we see those traits from the narcissist pouring off onto you. That's when you start to notice, hey, I may be gaslighting. Hey, I may be a little bit manipulative, because you have intertwined yourself with so many demonic people over the years that you have absorbed those demonic spirits in which they carry. So just as the narcissist seeks out light because they've been drowning in darkness for so long that they're almost dead and they must come out, the narcissist must come out for light. Even though they despise it and they disdain it, they desire it because they need it to thrive, to live. So they can only live in the darkness so long before they have to come out and seek light. And they seek it in people that they see have so much of it. So once they have drained you of your light and they see no more light in you, they're back in the darkness because they have absorbed the light that they need. Right? So that's that living in the demonic world and those transferring of spirits. They have transferred some of their darkness onto you, just as you have transferred some of your light onto them, which is the purpose for them. And they know what they're doing. A narcissist knows what they're doing. When they set out for a victim, they know exactly what they want in the victim, what they need in the victim, and what they're coming for. And once that is accomplished, they're gone. So you're allowing these spirits to be transferred from soul to soul when you intertwine in these unhealthy relationships with these people who are unhealthy, who live in darkness. You're allowing yourself and your soul and spirit to be opened up to the darkness. And nothing comes out of the darkness but demons and demonic spirits that will take over you, that make these soul ties much more stronger to break. We can form soul ties through erotic conversations and sexual interactions. So we all know the narcissist thrives on sex. That's one of the biggest things they use to create the soul tie. We see this phase of a lot of sexual gratification in the love bombing stage with the narcissist. They will push the envelope with you sexually. They'll have you explore and try things that you've never tried before with anyone else to open that door up. And when you open yourself up to sex out of marriage, you're opening yourself up to demons. You're opening your soul up. And the farther and farther you allow a person, to push you sexually, is the more and more you're opening your soul up to demons and to this dark world. Because one, again, even though we don't practice this, especially not in 2020, sex is an act that should be consecrated between husband and wife. So if you're not healthy emotionally, mentally, and physically already without sex as a part of the equation, because you have trauma that you've suffered from a child to your adulthood, and all throughout your adulthood, you've suffered trauma. So you haven't cleansed yourself or healed yourself from the hurt and the trauma that you've already been going through. And you continue to live your adult life creating unhealthy soul ties and bonds with other people who have traumas that they have not healed from. You are open up to all of these demons, all of these spirits that have taken over your mind and your body, who maneuver you and cause you to act in an inward way that is unhealthy. Your behavior is manifested through the relationships that you have created based on these demonic soul ties that are set forth within you, because it's ungodly. And you wonder why emotionally you're not together, why 1 minute you're happy, 1 minute you're sad, why you're triggered so easily by the littlest of things, and it can alter your mood, it can alter your behavior and how you're functioning throughout the day, because you have allowed these demons inside of you, and it's a spiritual warfare going on within you right now. Your light is fighting the darkness, the God is fighting the demon in you. And you're wanting so bad to break free. You're wanting to burst out. You can feel it. It's right there. But you keep being pulled back and held down by this demonic soul tie that has captivated your soul and has taken over your mind and body and your full thought process. And it's hard, but it's doable. It can be broken. So to continue on with how it can be broken. I'm getting there, guys. I'm looking for a scripture. Y'all know how I am by my scriptures. Y'all know who I am about my scriptures. Where did it go, guys? I'm looking. Um, until I find it to go on. So the soul tie can be broken. I found the scripture. It can be broken, but it takes the ultimate purging of yourself. It takes the ultimate cleansing of your mind, body, and spirit. These things must be aligned. They must be one. The mind, body, the spirit, and the soul. The spirit and the soul intertwining together. It needs to be in the same connection. Because if the spirit wants to do one thing, but the soul is connected elsewhere, then we can't align together. So if your spirit is telling you that this relationship is wrong and it's not good for you, it's unhealthy, but your soul is demonically connected to this person, and you can't break that soul tie, or you have yet to do the work to break that soul tie and take the correct steps to break yourself from that soul tie, then you're not one with yourself. And you're going to continue to be in this relationship or intertwine yourself in other relationships similar to this one, because you have yet to align your soul and your spirit together. A soul tie is consecrated down by a stronghold. And we hear about strongholds in the Bible, where it says in 2 Corinthians chapter 10, verses 4 through 5, "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ." I'm going to read it again. "For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds, casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalted itself against the knowledge of God, and bringing into captivity every thought to the obedience of Christ. A stronghold is a fortress designed to keep what is locked in and what would challenge it out. A mental and spiritual stronghold locks certain people, desires, habits, and experiences into your mindset while preventing the power of God from entering that area. As a consequence, a person can love God and still be bound in certain areas of life due to strongholds and soul ties. So, right, that's just what I was just speaking about. Your whole body, your spirit can want to break free from something so bad. But because you have this mental, spiritual stronghold that's locked on you from a certain person, and you right now you feel it's impossible to break this soul tie, to break this stronghold, that you're bound to that situation. You're bound to that person, right? And when we look at the challenges of our warfare are not carnal. When we think about carnal, I want to think about what that really means to explain the definition of carnal. So hold on, because I want to get something that is going to allow me to give y'all that definition. We want to talk about the definition of carnal and what carnal means in terms of when we're speaking about warfare within us and within our spirit. Y'all just give me a second. My apologies, I did not have this definition together before I start this video. Okay, carnal is relating to physical, especially sexual needs and activities. So in here, we see where it says the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but they're mighty, but mighty through God to the pulling down of strongholds. So the weapons of our warfare are not physical. It's not sexual, but the weapons of our warfare is the mighty stronghold that consecrates and establishes the soul tie in you to keep you engulfed and entrapped to this person. So how do we break this soul tie? Right? The soul tie is hard to break because you have been spiritually and emotionally bounded to this person. And when you're dealing with a narcissistic person, they set out to bound their victims. And they know what they're doing from the beginning. A narcissist sets out to create a soul tie in you. That's how they keep you engulfed in them. That's how they keep getting you to pour supply into them continually, even after you've already realized this person is demonic, this person is unhealthy. The worst thing that you can do is be aware that you have allowed an unhealthy soul tie to be created between you and this person and not do everything in your power to break it, as hard as it might be. Having a soul tie bound with a narcissistic person is draining emotionally, mentally, and physically. It's defilement of the body because they will hold on to you through sexual experiences. They will push the envelope with you sexually, emotionally, and mentally so far to the point where you might lose yourself and your total understanding of what reality is around you. They gaslight you to the point where you have no understanding of what reality is and you question your own reality as it stands in front of you. You question your own thoughts and everything that you do. You question how you move and how you operate. You question your relationships with other people. All of this is demonic. The narcissist is set out to control you and to control your mind. They're really set out to destroy you, to diminish you down to nothing. So that everything that was great in you, they now possess within themselves once they have destroyed you. Once they have toxified you full of their darkness, full of their hate, and once they have absorbed all of your light and love, their mission has been accomplished. Now they've just discarded you as if you were nothing. The soul tie is ever so powerful because it is spiritual. That's why in a lot of my other videos, I stress not having casual sex, not entering into a relationship with somebody until you get all the facts on this person and exactly know who this person is. We have to observe people where they are. You need to see if somebody that you feel like you want to intertwine into a relationship with. You need to see them on all aspects in every situation. You need to see how they react. You need to see them in every form that they may have to take on. So you need to see them when they're hungry. You need to see them when they're broke. You need to see them when they've lost a loved one. You need to see them when they're sad. You need to see them when things don't go their way so you know how they operate and how they're affected. And when you watch somebody's actions in certain circumstances and in certain situations as life turns, you'll get a good take on how this person is healthy emotionally, mentally, and physically, or if they're unhealthy. Red flags arise and we must be healthy within ourselves to pay attention to them. A narcissistic person can only take hold of you when you're unaware and you lack the knowledge to fight against them. So right now I'm giving you the knowledge. There's several other people out here that's giving the knowledge. And a lot of us, we have the knowledge. We've gained it through maybe a narcissistic relationship, unfortunately. But we've gained it. And now that we have the knowledge, it's vital that we use it in order to break those demonic soul ties that have been placed upon us from this person. Nothing is worse than a soul tie, but it's even worse when you're locked in a demonic soul tie with a narcissistic person because it's so draining of yourself that you lose days, sometimes at a time, just being drained from this relationship, just being broken down, because that's what the soul tie and the stronghold does to you. But you must have full will against this thing, that the soul tie that's taking over your life. You must want to break this. You must have to know that you want better. You must first find the root of the soul tie and what connected you with this person. What bound you down? What trigger or what trauma inflicted you to this person? Because they'll trauma bond you. They'll find something in your past or something in your life that they can symbolize with, that they can resonate with, and they'll build a bond with you based on that. And that's a trauma bond. And once they have you locked in, they'll continue to trauma bond you throughout the whole relationship, to suck you in deeper and deeper and have a lock on you. They'll create a bond with you based on their own traumas, right? Because you're an empathetic person. They'll pour out all this information about how they grew up terrible, how their mother was horrible to them, how their father was horrible to them, how nobody loves them, how they've never been able to trust anybody, how they've been hurt in relationship after relationship, how they've given their all to people and never get anything back. They'll really suck you in with this. And because you're an empathetic person and you want to give love and receive love in the same fashion, you'll give your all into this person, trying to get them to love you back, showing them the gratification and the love that they said they never had, but you'll never see it back from them, because their only mission is to gain supply from you through a demonic soul tie held together through a stronghold. You must break all strongholds. You must cleanse yourself. We must purge ourselves of sexual perversion. We must purge ourselves of negative self-talk. We must purge ourselves of low self-esteem. We must purge ourselves of codependency. We must purge ourselves of any demonic music, any demonic books, anything demonic that is taking over our mind and fitting into our subconscious. We must purge ourselves of the demonic things of this world and the love of our flesh. We must purge ourselves of pornography, of explicit visuals that are taking into us and creating these visuals in our mind that are not real. As a society today, we have no understanding of what intimacy is, because our intimacy has, our mindset and visual of intimacy has been shaped and formed on modern day sex and society, music videos, and entertainment. that it's not real. We don't know what real love and real intimacy is because we haven't never had a real depiction of it. We've only had intimacy and love based on these demonic relationships that we've established over the years with people. So our knowledge of love and intimacy stems from unhealthy demonic soul ties and unhealthy relationships that we've had with people. So we must purge ourselves of everything that we once knew. It has to be mind, body, and soul. You have to create a new mindset for yourself. You have to relearn everything that you once knew. You have to gain a better understanding of what love and intimacy is. And how do you do that? You first do that within yourself. You first be to yourself and love yourself, giving yourself all the love and intimacy that you seek and desire from another person. Once you're able to gain that understanding of love and intimacy within yourself, then you're able to see it in other people instead of giving in to false love and false intimacy just to have somebody around to fill a void for you. We have to let go of these traumas. We have to heal from past hurt and pain, because if we don't, we're going to continue to seek love and intimacy and gratification in wrong sources and in the wrong form. Just as a warm body to lay next to you at night, um, keeping us from really dealing with those traumas and those pains. Sometimes we enter into these relationships too as a deterrent from really sitting and really cleansing ourselves and really taking that time to analyze ourselves and the things that we've been through, because it hurts, right? And we don't want to hurt. So we don't want to sit in a space where we have to really analyze what we've been through, where we have to purge, where we have to cleanse that pain out of us, where we have to bring it to a boiling head and actually bust it open and get down to the nitty gritty root of what is really affecting us and causing us to enter into these unhealthy relationships, causing us to live an unstable, unhealthy life, causing us to live in dysfunction and thrive in dysfunction instead of thriving in what's healthy and what's good and what's of the will and word of God. And because we find it so painful to sit and to think about what happened to us as a child that's affecting us now, we don't want to relive those painful moments. We will enter into these relationships that are unhealthy because they're distractions to life. And we rather be distracted in dysfunction than to heal from our hurt to live a healthier life. It's going to be painful. But in the end, it's going to be worth it. Choose to live your life through light today. Choose to heal yourself from your pain. Choose to purge yourself from all of the unhealthy soul ties that were created throughout your life, through all the trauma that you have established in yourself from your childhood through your adult years. Choose to break those demonic narcissistic relationships that you have with people. Choose to set boundaries and stand on your boundaries and have healthy boundaries with people moving forward. And if you have to cut somebody off, choose to be able to do that in a healthy fashion and know that it's going to be okay, because so many times we place so much gratification and love on man and not in God. And that's where these soul ties are really bounded to us, because we're putting man and people in a position that only God should be in. You say things like, I can't live without you. I love you so much. You mean the world to me. You're everything to me. All of these things, the power of life and death is in the tongue. What you say out your mouth will consecrate into life. It will become life-like form. So if you say out your mouth you cannot live without a person and this person leaves you, you will absorb that into your total being, mind, body, soul, and spirit, and you'll believe that. You'll believe that you can't live without this person when the only entity you cannot live with is God. There is no man, no woman walking this earth strong enough to tear you down from the love and the will of God that's in you. And until we start putting God over all things, we will not walk right and we will not live right. Until we know that man is just man, but God is the ruler of all. He has all strength in his hand. He gives us all strength. He gives us not a spirit of fear, but a strong mind, with a sound mind. We have everything that we need in us through God. But we put so many other things in his place. We worship so many other things besides him. We worship man as if he is God. And God will break you down to come to him, to have understanding, to have love, to have pure divine intervention through him to heal you from all of these soul ties that you have created. But you must first seek him. You must first seek him. You must turn away from your flesh, from the love of this world, and from these things. You must turn away from the darkness. That's the only way you'll break this hole with this narcissistic relationship that you're in. is to turn to the love of God, to let him pour over you, to place him in the position where he should sit. So I'm not going to continue to preach to y'all. I just want to come to y'all with that, because we do struggle with these soul ties with narcissistic people, not even with narcissistic people, but people in general. We suffer with soul ties. But when the relationship is with the person who suffers from NPD, it's much stronger because the demonic hold is much stronger. The soul tie is built off sin and demonic spirits that dwell amongst that person. And once you have opened your soul up to that person, you have taken on these demonic spirits that have taken a hold on you, because that's what this person set out to do. A narcissist sets out to build soul ties with you. They set out to always keep you locked into them for life, because that's where they absorb their supply. The narcissist can't love. There's no light in them. They only get light from other people. They possess none naturally within themselves. They choose to thrive in darkness. They choose to live a demonic lifestyle and let demonic spirits take over them, totally just throwing away the godlike ability in them, covering it up with darkness, because it's easier for them to thrive in the darkness than it is for them to live in the light. But when the darkness has taken hold of them and they're about to die, and they feel there's no more of them left, they'll seek somebody like you to prey on, to suck up your light so they can live and watch you die. You have to decide whose you are and whose team you're on right now, because we're in a spiritual warfare. Every day you fight a spiritual warfare within yourself, whether you realize it or not. You're fighting to walk in the light and to totally deceive the darkness, to walk away and to break all demonic soul ties and strongholds that have been placed on you through demonic entities and forces that you felt at one time were unfightable, that your power was not strong enough to go against. But as long as you have the will of God and the power of God within you, then you're strong enough to fight any demonic force that has been placed over your life, and you can break it. But you must purge yourself, mind, body, soul, and spirit. You must walk away from the love of the flesh and the love of your body and your wants, and you must give in to the love and the will of God. So I'm going to end the video on that note. Be whole, guys. Be healthy. Spread your light. Love yourself. Know that being alone is not always bad. Sometimes being alone is what you need to open up the godlike abilities within you, to come back to yourself and to return to the godlike spirit that you are. Examine people, know people who they are. Be mindful with your energy and who you allow to come around you and absorb it. And be mindful of the energy that you absorb. Love yourself, love God, and put him above all things. There's no man on this earth, no woman on this earth is more powerful and strong than the love and the will of God that lives within you. Know who you are and know the divine power that you possess within yourself. I love you guys. Until then, subscribe to my channel. Spread light, spread love, and spread peace, I say.